What does the future of motorsports gaming look like? Specifically, the NASCAR gaming license and now the IndyCar license. What is going on with Motorsport Games? When will we see a new NASCAR game? Will the IndyCar game release, and what will it look like? But I know the real reason you clicked on this video. What is happening on September 30th, 2023? Finally going to talk about it and reveal it today on Shifting Gears. I'm Alan Bailey, and before the lawyers and powers that be threaten to take this video down, make sure you mash that subscribe button so that you come on back to keep up on the latest NASCAR news, and make sure that you log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I said that I would go ahead and talk about the importance of September 30th, 2023 when the time was right. I originally was planning on doing that on November 1st, honestly, but the situation has changed. My sources are now safe, meaning that there is no immediate threat to their family or well-being, so we're going to talk about that today. But let's talk about how we got here and what changed this week. The big thing is that Mike Straw, a reporter for Insider Gaming, reported on a live this week that Motorsport Games is losing the exclusive licensing rights to produce NASCAR console games.
NASCAR is being set to announce that there will be other NASCAR games in development. Now, I can't confirm. I do not know. I'm hearing some studios, but I can't confirm any of them. No one has said yes or no to the specific studios when asked about who will be making NASCAR games. But the NASCAR exclusivity license between NASCAR and Motorsport Games is all but dead.
Now let me go ahead and start with this. Mike Straw is 100% accurate. Independently, ARN has confirmed this. Now, this doesn't mean that Motorsport Games is done making NASCAR games. They can still make NASCAR games as well as other companies. And yes, I know, we've seen EA Sports and Monster Games or iRacing, their names be thrown into this hat, and honestly, I don't see EA Sports picking up the rights. I don't see them wanting to throw their hat into what could be a competitive field, and I do see Monster Games picking up this license, or at least being one of the players putting out a game. But the thing that NASCAR fans might get very soon is something that we had in the early 2000s, and that is multiple NASCAR games on the market at the same time, creating competition, which inevitably will make each one of these games better quality than the last. Because when you look back at the early 2000s, each one of the developers that created yearly NASCAR releases all had to compete with each other and all had to make their games significantly better or stand out from the other one. And because of that, we got bangers like NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, NASCAR Thunder 2004, and more. But right now, we cannot confirm which gaming developers are talking with NASCAR simply because we are not confident in the information we're getting at this time. Hopefully that changes soon, and we'll tell you as soon as we can confirm it. NASCAR this week did announce the new NASCAR Arcade Rush game, which is coming out this September 15th. That is a game that is produced by Gaming Mill Entertainment. That game is going to be coming out on the Switch, Xbox, the PS5 and PS4, as well as Steam for PC. That is more of an arcade-style game, which honestly needs to be produced. No, it's not the hardcore simulator that NASCAR fans want for consoles, but it is something that needs to be done for the younger audience in order to establish a younger generation of NASCAR fans. Am I going to buy it? Probably not, simply because I don't know if I need another NASCAR arcade game that I don't have the time to play with in my arsenal, but it honestly looks fairly competent, and honestly, if I get a chance to, I'd like to get my hands on it. But let's talk about Motorsport Games and what is happening over there, and more importantly, what could be happening with the NASCAR gaming license at Motorsport Games moving forward. Motorsport Games is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange, meaning that by law, they are required to hold quarterly earning report calls. Now, a big huff and puff was made a few weeks ago when they removed the date information on when their second quarter 2023 earning call was going to be. Originally, it was supposed to be in early August, and it simply was removed off their website altogether. Now, people online immediately jump to the fact, they've been sold! The company's going under! It's dead! that was never really the case. Now, we cannot confirm the official reason as to why this earning call was pushed back, but we can confirm it was pushed back. It's actually going to be held on August 21st, 2023 at 5 p.m. Eastern. Yes, that entire call in its entirety will be available on their website because it's required to be by law. And I'm sure we'll get a new video coming out soon after next week as well. Keep an eye on the channel, mash that subscribe button in the meantime. The other speculation news that dropped on the internet last week is the fact that Motorsport Games might have been sold, or that there might be something else happening with the company internally. And yes, there is a rumor going around within the company itself that the company is going through a hostile takeover at this time. Now, we cannot confirm that the company has been purchased by a single investor or another company, but we can confirm that a large portion of Motorsport Games stock was purchased on August 1st, 2023. The stock price on July 31st was only $3.43 and then jumped dramatically to $6.60 the very next day, meaning that overnight, somebody purchased a large amount of that company. Now, whether or not this is a hostile takeover, whether or not this is one person buying up the stock in order to up their portfolio, or something else entirely, we cannot confirm. But other stock market reporters are looking into this, and they have not been able to come up with anything yet. If we are able to find anything out, or they find anything out, we'll let you know. So realistically, how long will it take for us to see a new NASCAR game? Honestly, I do not see a new NASCAR game coming out in 2024 at all, unless Motorsport Games or somebody from within that company or outside that company injects an alarming amount of resources into that company very soon. I don't see them producing a functioning NASCAR game in the next 12 months. That could change dramatically depending on what happens over the course of the next year, but at the moment, I don't see it happening. Realistically, if a new developer comes in today and picks up the NASCAR license and starts producing a game, it could honestly take up to 2 years for us to see that game. And because of that, I don't see the near future of the NASCAR gaming world looking very bright on console. I honestly hope to get to a point where we see multiple gaming developers, preferably just two to start, putting out a game every 2 years instead of every year. And I know, that is going to go ahead and raise a lot of eyebrows. Let me explain. If a gaming developer puts a game out every 2 years, that essentially means that they have more time to develop these games. Now, as a NASCAR fan, I'd like to see a new game every year, but frankly, if a game is functional, just simply put out a $5-10 DLC to update the roster in between these new games. It's something that can tide over NASCAR fans, give the developer more time and more resources in order to develop a better game with more functions. NASCAR fans deserve a Forza level game, but simply put, there is not enough time to develop it year to year to year. The NASCAR gaming sphere is an extremely niche market that at this point honestly doesn't have the demand to warrant a new game every single calendar year. That's why I'm hoping for a new game every 2 years to help offset that, to make these games a little better, so that eventually in 5 or so years we could potentially see a Forza level quality NASCAR game on the market. But I know what you're asking yourself. What is going on with Motorsport Games' IndyCar game? We already know that it was due to come out this year, but unfortunately, it wasn't ready, big surprise, and it was pushed to 2024. We're hearing that that game should, keyword should, be coming out at the tail end of Q1 2024, meaning sometime around the Daytona 500, sometime in early March. What is the game going to have? Not much, unfortunately. It will not have a career mode. It will only have a race now mode, a single season championship mode, and a basic multiplayer that is so bare bones it's not even funny. No paint booth, no statistics, and no online gaming. People within Motorsport Games internally are saying it's okay. That's not exactly how I want a new game to be described to anyone. It's not exactly the game that IndyCar fans have been asking for 20 years, but honestly, I have very little faith. And I know, the real reason you've watched this long is because you want to know what happens on September 30th, 2023. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and tell you about Wraith. If you're looking for some clean energy that doesn't have added sugars, that doesn't have all of these fake chemicals in it, then you definitely need to go to drinkwraith.com and use promo code Allen10 at checkout. You can get 10% off your entire order site-wide, and that includes starter bundles with shaker cups and individual packets so that you can try out multiple flavors, the larger tubs, and merchandise, including the brand new sunglasses from Wraith. It's 200 milligrams of caffeine, amino acids, antioxidants, zero sugar, and only 6 calories per serving. Plus, it tastes amazing, and they have dozens of absolutely amazing flavors that you need to try right now. So log on to drinkwraith.com and use promo code Allen10 at checkout. Link is in the description below. Join the cult. Drink Wraith. So in order to understand the importance of September 30th, 2023, we need to break something else down. In the business world, there is something called the fiscal year that happens every year from October 1st until the very next September 30th. Essentially, it breaks up the calendar in a funny way. In this case, the fiscal year for 2023 runs from October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023. See where I'm going with this? Motorsport Games was legally required to put a new NASCAR game out on the market every fiscal year. NASCAR Heat 5 was released on July 7th, 2020. Motorsport Games asked for an extension from NASCAR because of everything that happened in 2020. So NASCAR granted it to them. So they released NASCAR 21 Ignition on October 26, 2021. And their last NASCAR game was released on October 14th, 2022. Technically, NASCAR Rivals meets the fiscal year 2023. So I hear you asking me, Alan, what does that mean then? What is the importance of September 30th, 2023? NASCAR Rivals was only released on the Nintendo Switch, meaning that legally, Motorsport Games has not met the legal requirement to retain the exclusive rights to the NASCAR gaming license for the 2023 fiscal year. September 30th, 2023 is not the date that Motorsport Games will declare bankruptcy. It's not the date that Dmitry Koskov will be arrested for all of his financial crimes that he's committed from within the company's walls, reportedly. It's not the day that Motorsport Games will release a new NASCAR game. No. Instead, September 30th, 2023 is the deadline for Motorsport Games to put out a NASCAR console game for all consoles. And by all accounts, it does not look like that will happen. So as it stands, Motorsport Games will lose the exclusive rights to produce NASCAR console games on September 30th, 2023. There's two main reasons that I took this long to actually divulge this information. The main one is that my sources' livelihood, meaning their career and their family's well-being, was on the line. It is no longer. The other is that I simply didn't want to tip off Motorsport Games so that they could essentially just put out a skin replacement on NASCAR Rivals and call it a new NASCAR game. The reason I took so long is because I wanted to see Motorsport Games fail, because I too am a gamer, because I too grew up playing NASCAR games. I remember when the Thunder Series came out, specifically on the PS1, and I remember thinking, this is an amazing game. This is the future of NASCAR console gaming. And as a kid, I got to grow up in the prime of NASCAR console gaming with the Thunder Series, when EA went downhill, unfortunately. And 20 years later, we're still having the same conversation, still waiting for a new, great NASCAR game. I do not have faith in Motorsport Games at all. I simply do not think that they are capable of producing this game, not due to a lack of passion and not due to a lack of technical skill, but instead due to a lack of resources because upper management at Motorsport Games rushed NASCAR 21 to market well before it was ready to go. What does the future of NASCAR gaming hold? I think that it is vitally important that NASCAR gets its console gaming right. I think that putting out extremely good NASCAR console gamings is extremely important to developing a younger audience. I grew up playing NASCAR gaming, and I went from being a casual NASCAR fan to a diehard, lifelong NASCAR fan because of the Thunder Series. And now with the current generation, more F1 fans have sprung up from the Codemaster EA games than NASCAR fans from Motorsport Games. This is an utter failure on Motorsport Games' part, and the sole blame relies on them. Their failure to bring a good product to market. NASCAR confirmed to me over 13 months ago that they have been working on this and that they have been going towards losing exclusive rights to the NASCAR console gaming, wanting multiple games and multiple developers working on their games simultaneously. It's something that's been happening behind the scenes for a very, very long time. And I honestly do think that we're going to see multiple NASCAR games on the market within the next 5 to 10 years. Until then, unfortunately, there is nowhere to go for young NASCAR fans to learn about the history of NASCAR. Yes, there are some great products out there, like the new NASCAR Arcade Rush that was just announced this week, Rocket League having more involvement with NASCAR, and even some other projects that I can't tell you about yet, but I will very soon. So make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you come on back for that exciting news when we're able to tell you about it, and make sure that you log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Thank you so much for watching. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.